What's up guys, it's Denadon here, and today I am back in Kerbal Space Program, where I am mucking about trying to improve the Podracer designs that I made before. So here is the first one. This is the original one I made in the first video, which I will link in the description. And this design mostly worked, but it had its problems. For example, it was very hard to steer, and it was very unstable as well. And one of the things I'll also note is that I since connected my joystick to Kerbal Space Program, so I can fly it with those, and that's what I'm doing here, but that one crashed. So here is my second design. I lengthened out the outriggers to make them look, more like a Podracer, and I adjusted the horizontal fins to try and make them look a little better. So here we go, taking off nicely. Jeb seems to be having the time of his life. Look at that happy face. And so tried to turn it, and the problem with this one is it also didn't really like to turn well, but it kind of flew alright at the same time. So, as you can see, spin it around a little, coming back towards the Space Center, and I accidentally pull a little too much here, so you see I'm trying to correct it, and I'm heading right towards those buildings, try and pull up, but it doesn't want to pull up because there's no lift, and I hit the Research Center. Oops. So here we go, next design, more engines, because more equals better, that's the motto of Kerbal Space Program, and I also put some better vertical fins on that should hopefully actually help me in trying to steer it. So here we go, taking off, putting the gear away, Jeb's happy again, speeding along. These are also faster, which is something I was aiming for. So we come around, and I'm trying to get around back towards the buildings, because I wanted to keep all these records over the land, but I accidentally hit the ground there, and it's spinning out of control. Jeb is still having the time of his life apparently, but look at that spin, it's oh my god, and hit into the ground. And with a big explosion, that's the end of that one. So, here we go, more engines. I just doubled what I had before. This should work, right? I didn't bother adding any struts to this, I just kept on adding more stuff. So it's a little wobbly, but I was like, it'll be fine. So here we go, accelerating, and it took off a lot quicker than the previous ones. It looks a lot better than the previous ones, but it's not any more stable, and there we go. Bigger explosion than before too. So here we go, another one. This time I replaced the jet engines with solid rocket boosters. I put the small ones on, because they looked about the same as what I had there previously. So you can see it flies pretty well, or at least it seems to anyway. So we're banking around, those exhaust trails must be really close to the cockpit, but Jeb of course, he doesn't mind at all. Bit of a spin around there, but I recover it. So, and another spin, which I'm trying to recover, then the fuel burns out, and I get it leveled off, spin it around, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and land this. But no, it just wants to spin again. So bringing it round, and I actually did land this one ultimately, but I cut that out of the video because I was trying to keep this video shorter than my normal ones. But let's say it did happen. So here we go, again, same standard, duplicating the engines again, no more struts, let's just get more power. Lots of wobble there on takeoff as we climb with the bright glow from the lights and the rocket engines. But the speed is picking up, the G meter is staying in the safe levels for now. Ooh, but not there. Nice bit of a spin, and I was like, I can recover this, but it spun again. And that's where I ran into the problem with these designs, is that they always like to spin around. So, replace the small SRBs with big ones. What could possibly go wrong with that? So, I couldn't get the controls level on the front there, so you can see they're at a bit of an angle. And also look, I'm pulling up, but all it's doing is flexing the frames, because again, I didn't bother with putting any struts on this beyond what it already had. But this one climbs a lot better, as you can see. Better acceleration too. Jeb seems to be even happier about this one. I always love looking at their faces when I'm doing these things, because almost anyone else is terrified, but Jeb, he's all fine and happy. He's just enjoying the ride, even if it never seems to end well for him in these. But here we go, spinning around, coming around to do a flyby, And this one, you can see getting some mark effects there. It got quite quickly. I think this was the fastest of my designs. But as you see, ran out of fuel there. And this one was also another one that I was able to land, but I cut that out because who wants to see normal landings when you can see explosions instead? So, here we go. Double the engines, double the wobble it seems, but also double the acceleration. Even more floppiness as it tries to take off, and I almost lost it immediately after taking off, but I managed to recover it. So here we go, trying to climb, don't get too much altitude, I want to try and keep it low where the air is thicker, which seems to be better for these things. Bit of a blast in the face there from the rockets, lots of spinning around in the air, coming to a halt and accelerating in another direction, another spin around there, trying to bring it up, and here we go. Can I make it? No, I tried to, but no, spinning around again. Still haven't hit the ground though, so that's a bonus. The double the controls at the front seems to help, but it doesn't help much in trying to stop this spinning. So here we go, keep more spinning, level it out a bit. I'm like, alright, I can try and land this if I can get it pointing in the right direction. The one advantage of these is that if the other stuff hits first, the cockpit survives, like that. So everything breaks off, but the cockpit is fine. And then I found I can still spin it around and the torque will send it spinning around like a mad top. So that sort of worked. And here we go. I got bored, so I added 3 times the engines now. This, you can see, isn't going to end well with that block. But here we go anyway, accelerating nicely. And lots of wobble, and oh, there it goes, breaks off before we even take off. The pod gets destroyed, but that other engine, as you see here, just is boosting away on its own quite merrily and very stable, more stable than most of my rockets. And finally, this was the last design where I just strapped 2 main sails to some tanks and said what will happen with this. So very nice takeoff there, almost immediate. This was the fastest thing I made. It was also, oddly enough, one of the more controllable ones, maybe because those engines have good thrust vectoring or something. But as you see, we're spinning around, this thing looks ridiculous, got some mark effects. It's mostly stable except for that point there. And good for aerobatics, these things anyway. Podracers are good for aerobatics, there you go. But I try to land it, level it out, but it doesn't work, so this is gonna crash. But anyway, I am Denadon. This has been me mucking about with Podracers. Safe landings.